Hi everyone, for today's book review we're going to check out the eagerly awaited second volume of the Lusitania series. And it is this one, Lusitania Volume 2, A Greyhound's Downfall. Volume 1, published earlier, has also been reviewed. Here it is here. And if you want to check out my review, you can see the link down there below. Volume 2 picks up where Volume 1 left off, which is the outbreak of the First World War. And Volume 2 looks at the Lusitania's life from the outbreak of that conflict through to its tragic final voyage in May 1915. And the bulk of the book is composed of quite literally a minute-by-minute breakdown of the sinking of this ship. And that minute-by-minute breakdown is composed almost entirely of the accounts of surviving passengers and crew and accounts of people involved that we know were there and did not make it. It is gripping reading and constitutes the volume's greatest achievement, and it will stand for a long time as one of the most complete and comprehensive looks and descriptions of the sinking of this ship. Of course, this book holds the same high visual standards as not only the previous volume but also the previous books that these authors have published. The text is intermingled with beautiful photographs, illustrations, and of course these amazing 3D rendered images, which not only give us an understanding of what it was like to be on board the Lusitania as it was sinking, but also to experience the sheer horror of what it was like, as this particular image visibly demonstrates. This volume is a massively expanded and standalone volume from the last 20% of this book. So this is an earlier book which is a comprehensive history of the Lusitania, and Volume 1 is almost a word-for-word copy of the first 80% of this book. But the accounts of the ship sinking and all the new findings are all standalone and massively expanded within this book. What is refreshing is that the authors do not engage or dwell on the various conspiracies that have modeled the Lusitania story. In fact, they've been part of the Lusitania story since the first books compiling the sinking and the controversies came out, from the 50s and the 60s with A.A. Holling's book through to 1972 with Colin Simpson's account, whose claims have also since been debunked, and that is also reinforced in the current volume, through to more recent works that have focused more on the technical and personal elements. We have fantastic descriptive accounts from Larsen's Dead Wake, which is referenced in this volume, as well as the very, very detailed Diana Preston's Willful Murder. A lot of the conclusions that are reached in this volume are based on solid research that is reinforced by what you can see in their bibliography, in all their references, and they essentially build upon all the scientific and accepted theories that have since come to light over the last 2 decades especially, particularly looking at the explosion and the torpedo effects. They have come to the same conclusions that earlier studies by engineers and specialists have come up with, and if you are interested in understanding the behavior of ocean liners in extreme sinking circumstances, then do check out this book, Titanic Ships, Titanic Disasters. The conclusions that they came up with regarding the second explosion on the Lusitania is also reinforced in the conclusions that were reached in this particular volume. In addition to all this, there is a concluding chapter about the life of Lusitania afterwards, And in particular, there's an interesting section about one of the first the first Lusitania movies that came out very shortly thereafter, which was a decent production for its time, involving a set of the Lusitania being built and being put onto gimbals so that it could list and simulate the movement of sinking. This is a fantastic book and a worthy collection to anyone's maritime library, because not only is it visually beautiful, what will make it last the test of time is the compilation of the first-person accounts. What we read and experience as the Lusitania sinks is not the supposition of authors. It is based on the accounts of the people who were there. And the authors have done a fantastic amount of work in ensuring that there is accuracy in those accounts, so that you have this incredible narrative of their feelings, their anxieties, their frustrations, their ecstasy of being saved. And we also finally get to read and experience those that were sucked into the funnel, and amazingly, they survived as they were ejected out of one of those funnels. If you have the first volume, do not hesitate to get the second volume. If you have the original illustrated biography, do not hesitate to get the second volume. If you have more generic works, such as this one, which for me holds a special place, Lusitania by Robert Ballard, do not hesitate to add this to your collection. A lot of the paintings that Ken Marshall made in Ballard's book have certainly influenced future generations' visualization of the sinking of the Lusitania, and you can see threads of that in this book, and certainly the illustrations that are added in here are next level. Incredible work. So if you want to add a fantastic piece of maritime history to your library, get this book. If you want to add a complete history of the Lusitania, get volume 1, get volume 2. This is an exquisite piece of research that is brilliantly written and immaculately visualized with those beautiful illustrations and renderings. So naturally, 5 out of 5 captain's hats for me. Do not hesitate, hunt this book down, add it to your library, go, go, go now. Enjoy!